I cannot believe this, Sunset fumed. Sunset dear, please calm down, Rarity pled. I know this is important to you. It's important to all of us. But it is unfair of you to blame Pinkie for having a last-minute medical appointment. Sunset sighed. Yeah, I know. Sorry. Sunset recalled the incident. A mere 30 minutes ago, when an angry and sullen Pinkie Pie showed up, apologized he couldn't come back until later, because he ran out of her prescription and needed an appointment today to get her dose adjusted. Given that Sunset hadn't even known she was on meds, it came as a surprise. Oh, this fake is going to torture Pinkie, isn't it? Don't you do that a lot? Well, yeah, but I do it for funsies. Rarity nodded. I don't think I'm the one you need to apologize to, but I understand. I know that Pinkie tells everyone she's been cured of her malaise, but she's only confined to her closest friends that she still needs lithium doses for other things. I'm sure she didn't mean it as a slight to not tell you, darling. She shouldn't have to. She's entitled to her privacy if she doesn't want to tell me, Sunset replied. I'm not offended, though I am worried now you've mentioned it. How bad are we talking? That's something I had to bring up with her aunt and uncle, I presume, Rarity answered. I don't know myself, though I do know that the last time she didn't have it filled, it was... Well, never mind. I do believe we have other things to busy ourselves, do we not? You're changing the subject, Sunset accused. Yes, I am, Rarity said. Sunset, I think you need to talk to Pinkie about this. And just her. It's personal and private. It's something you should know. Well, a voice purred. Sunset and Rarity looked forward to see a girl with long blonde hair standing there in an aggressive posture. Lavender eyes radiated disgust, and her mouth was an angry jag of hate. So, dumped the other carpet looker, got yourself a new one? Tell me, does she bump your ugly? Because she sure as hell don't make you look good, skank. Rarity blinked. Excuse me, you don't think that... Lavender Lace grinned. Not to you, cute stuff. Honestly, if you weren't dating the bitch to her, I do you. You're too good for this cunt. Sunset took a step forward. Look, I don't know who you are, but I don't appreciate you insulting me or my friend. Got it? You really that stupid, Shimmer? You already forgot what I told you about coming to my territory, you prissy CHS bitch! That seemed to ring a bell. Oh, now I know who you are. You're Lavender Lace, right? Yeah. Lavender snarled, cocking a fist back. You're dead meat. The girl took a swing immediately. Rarity stepped back, instinctively shielding herself. So you didn't heard the slap of flesh against flesh, and knew the other girl had successfully thrown a punch. That success was soon put in doubt a second later as Rarity removed her hands, and now viewed Lavender trying to pull her hand back, and with Sunset with her own hand clapped around the others. I'm not a violent person by nature, Sunset hissed as he clamped down harder on Lavender's fist. But you could have hurt my friend there. And while I generally take a dim view of solving problems by fisticuffs, when it comes to my friends, I'm not the one to give quarter. Rarity thought she heard Knuckles pop as Sunset increased the pressure. The look on Lavender's face clearly indicated she was feeling some pain. Whatever happened in the split second she missed looking at the incident seemed to have put things in Sunset's favor. Not that such an outcome was ever in doubt. So here's what I'm going to do, Sunset told her. In a second, I'm going to let go of your hand. I think you're going to walk away and never bother me again, unless it's to apologize. The same thing goes for my friend Rarity here. And after that, you're not going to lift a hand against a single person unless it's in self-defense, whether it's in your school or not. You want to be the bully of your school? Trust me when I say that's just a splinter of a moment on top. Sooner or later, you're going to piss off the wrong person or people. And when you do, it will happen. Your fall will be hard and painful. In the distance, Sunset saw another girl running towards them. This one with short, dark fuchsia hair and a terrifying look on her face. Sunset threw her opponent back. Then looked at the other girl as Lavender crashed to the pavement. Get her out of here, if you will. We don't want to cause a scene here. You fucking bitch! Lavender screamed as she held her hand. You fucking broke it! No, I bruised it, Sunset said calmly. Her voice seemed to radiate an authority that could only have come from her true nature. If I wanted it broken, that would be more than easy. The newcomer looked at Sunset with fear. Sunset's frown softened. Don't let her get in any more trouble, okay? Come on, honey. Yuzu told her girlfriend as he helped the tough girl to her feet. Let's get to the car. The look on Lavenders' face was of an impotent rage, eyes filling with tears, but unable or unwilling to allow her opponent the pleasure of seeing her cry. As the two walked away, Sunset sighed. I'm sorry you had to see that, Rares. I remember who she is now, and this was the old me. I would have done so much worse. Now I just want her to leave me alone. But she wasn't going to listen to reason. Are you so sure about that? Randy asked. Bullies rarely listen to reason, Sunset told her friend. Trust me, I know that all too well. Meanwhile, in the FBI's conference room in the Farrell Caroline building, Shining Armor and Sandalwood gave the report they had on their investigation's progress. And that's the cursory evidence we have so far. Shining told the others involved. If I didn't know any better, I'd say the Sirens case and the serial killer case are somehow tied together, though the chances of that are infinitesimal.
Not as small as you might think, Agent Armor.
Shining Badge reached for a dossier folder that was in front of him.
We've had some of our analysis in Los Angeles division look into it. You might be right.
Excuse me, boss. Hardline interjection. The look on her face was a complete surprise. The Sirens are attacking civilians now?
Not quite. What I mean is that the Extremist Intelligence Unit recently had some information on a potential private military contractor company. Given that the last indicator out of the CIA was that said group named Alicorn was involved.
Badge paused while several other agents in the room laughed.
Yes, I know, stupid name, but not so stupid when you realize the kind of people we're going to be up against.
He sighed.
Fortunately, that isn't going to be our problem at the moment. No, what is going to be our problem is Hurricane Everblue. It's expected to pass just to the east of us, but just to the east is still enough for some major damage to the town. For the next 2 days, we're suspending all investigations while we assist local authorities in dealing with this crisis. That doesn't mean if you run into something significant, you should ignore it. Rather, that life and safety come before apprehension. Remember that our first order of business is to protect the people, not catch the bad guy.
He looked to his side. Hardy? Hardline looked to the others. We have a list of agencies that you'll be assisting during the crisis. Those of you who are on loan from other agencies, you're going back to them temporarily, though you'll still be under FBI auspice instead of your parent organizations. Keep in mind that unless it's a major bust, let the locals have the collar. Makes everyone's agency cooperation a thing, and prevents us from doing any extra paperwork. Now as for myself and the boss, he'll be here in the office, keeping tabs on all of us, while I'll be on heavy standby in case things get squirrely.
You think they will? One of the agents asked. I know they will, Bats insisted. Perps always use natural disasters to make things worse. Whether it's looting, a chance to sell old scores without supposedly getting caught, or a million other things. While this town might seem sleepy, mark my words, the next few days are going to be an absolute bear. And that's without contemplating all our other issues, folks.
He reached up and rubbed his eyes, looking weary ahead of time.
Okay, call it a day, and be rested and ready for tomorrow. Got that? Report in via phone, and do what needs to be done. Dismissed!
The Shine got over the table. He asked Sandalwood, and now to get some shopping done before it's too late. Sandalwood rolled her eyes. Yes, and only you would consider getting your sister's birthday present on her birthday, and when stores are shutting down due to hurricane. His smile fell as he laughed. Come on, we get going now. We might be able to make it to the books and sewing machines before they close. Shine nodded, but I had no idea what to get her, though. Sandalwood sighed. Did it ever occur to you why I know your sister so well? Not really, no. You really dance sometimes, you know that? Let's cook, girls, Velvet told the two in her kitchen. Well, thanks, Mrs. Lily. Applejack says he added another candy apple to the white chocolate and apple cake she baked for Twilight's party. Blinky's not the only one around here who can bake. Ma taught me how. Well, color me very impressed, Applejack. But you, Rainbow, are to surprise her. If I may say so. I haven't had empanadas since I was a kid back in San Diego. Rainbow brushed slightly as he pulled the pastries out of the oven. Well, my grandmother insisted I learn how to cook, given its tradition. Mom wasn't too happy about that, but she learned why arguing with a rainbow fiesta is a bad idea. Besides, whenever my parents are around, someone's gotta cook for me and Skits. Eating out all the time is just not healthy. We should have you come over and cook dinner sometime, Rainbow. The teammate did say so face. Sorry, but I got a rep to maintain, Cesar will smile. Maybe I'll make something at home. I'll bring the remainder by next time. That would be wonderful. Now, excuse me, I'll check on the others. Velvet left the kitchen and walked into the living room, where a second group was setting up. Keynes, who had taken the day off of work, was now directing the two girls, his other friends, helping decorate the house. A bit away from them, a third one was setting up the chocolate fountain. "Lyra, don't pull so hard," Tracy shouted while she was erasing the bunting. "I'm not the one pulling, you're the one pulling," Ira shouted back. Bonbon gave the girl a glare. "Girls, if you're not careful, you're gonna fall and end up in my fondue." Keynes went over to the table where the fountain sat. "I think we need to move this a bit anyways." "Good idea. You grab one end, and I'll grab the other." And with that, both managed to move the chocolatey goodness out of the harm of the two arguing friends. "How are things heading over there?" Velvet asked. "Looks good." She looked over the fountain, and Bonbon laying out the assortment of things to dip and sticks to dip with. "I swear I'm going to gain so much weight tonight." "Tell me about it." Tracy grunted from her perch as she ties the balloons together. "I don't have half the hyperness that Lyra does. Underestimate a bunny. So whatever's going to me tonight is going straight to my hips." "You know, you could just get your lazy ass out of bed and come jogging with me in the morning," Lyra told her. "Excuse me, you're calling me lazy. You." "Besides, the great and powerful Trixie doesn't do running. We could do laps in the pool." "The great and powerful pain in the ass. Better get back to work or we'll never get done." "Bambiet banana hikago faithful?" Bonbon spat, looking up at her girlfriend. It's her girlfriend's best friend. "Do I want to know what you just said?" Lyra asked. "No, you don't. Now get back to work, guys. We're running out of here." Keynes looked at Velvet and commented, "I think you better call Tavi and have her stall. Already on it." Meanwhile, Coffee Cream went to the girls he was touring. "My, your work's improving. But if you're going to bump up your grades, you really need to pay attention." "Why?" Prismatic sat in a chair, painting your nails and giving your tutor the least amount of attention possible. "My parents are loaded, and they'll always be there for me. If not then my trust fund." "I said your parents are in town right now, and he told me to do whatever it takes to get you to listen," Coffee growled. "So what's it gonna take?" Prismatic looked away from her nail polish and gave an icy eye towards Coffee. "You really want to know what it's gonna take?" "Yes, I really want to know what's gonna take." With that, Prismatic leaned forward, whispering in her ear. Coffee pulled away and said, "What?" "That's what I want. My parents are out of town, so you're gonna give it to me." The teen said matter-of-factly, "You see, I already know what I want out of life. That's why my parents are trying to get me to improve my grades. They think that doing that means I'll change my mind." She bit down gently on one of her fingers, making clear what she wanted. "Let's say I'll have a lucrative career ready for me when I'm 18. Of course I'll need to practice. That's where you come in." "And if I say no?" Coffee snarled, an angry look on her face. "Oh, don't think you'll say no. After all, what will your parents think once they find out that brother and sister are as close can be? And by that I mean, the only thing separating you two is the occasional thin layer of latex." "What?" Prismatic reached over and grabbed her phone, set it for gallery. "You know, you should be really careful where you go." The image on the screen was of her and Sandalwood in a very compromising position. "So tell me, what's more important? Satisfying my needs, or destroying your family and spending time behind bars?" "You wouldn't." "Oh, I would. After all, I'm just a rich, spoiled bitch. I'm so flying and fat, but naturally people will believe me, because I'm too stupid to lie." She went back to polishing her nails. "Look, I'm not looking for what it is you two have. You two love each other? Fine, get your rocks off. I just want to have fun." She then leaned forward and smiled. "Plus, your brother's not the only one I'm interested in. Really, you should be flattered." Meanwhile, back in Equestria, he could feel it. Even this far away, he could feel it. And it filled him with incalculable, terrible anger. The Black Garden. It now lay in ruins. Worse, the remnants of the lands were being protected by a damnable object whose origin and power were uncharted. At his current strength levels, there was no way he could assault the thing directly without wasting time and energy. In order to show whatever it was the error of its ways, in order to crush the fools who placed it there, only one path led towards victory. T-Rex almost smiled. Walking through the ever-free forest now, he could almost feel the comforting touch of malevolence and violence that lived within it. Of course, it wasn't true evil per se. It was just nature at work. Cold, hard, and brutal. But just nature in itself, and in the general area itself, the sweet darkness that he felt earlier. As he got in closer, he realized it wasn't a fount or an artifact or so, but a living, breathing creature. Whatever it was strong in the dark disciplines. Strong enough possibly even topple an alicorn. Given that it existed as well, it was smart. Enough to stay hidden from those simpering princesses that ruled the land. That meant whatever it was likely intelligent, was meant a potential ally or... T-Rex laughed. He needs no allies. The cruise centaur laughed to himself. He needs only power. Yes! For it is power that makes everything grand. Yes! That's all he needs. With that, T-Rex continued his slow trek towards Canterlot and his path towards dominations. Damn it! Of all the places he could have landed, Cloudcover thought, it had to be in the middle of the Everfree. It was bad enough that he thought he could get away with taking a shortcut over the cursed forest while on his flight to Nimbusville for the Clydesdale. But then he had to run into that turbulence while he was in the middle of his flight, a twisted snarl there that slammed him down to the ground. He managed to recover from that, but in the process lost this gift he was bringing to his mother. And worse, he sprained his wing. It hurts like Tartarus right now, but as the old saying went, any landing you could draw away from. Looking around, he noticed that he at least landed in a clearing. For what he knew, guards of Ponyville and Berryville patrolled their portions of the forest. Just as important, there was a zebra shaman named Zakora, who lived in the forest and was Twilight's advisors. If he could find his way to either the guards or the zebra, he'd be fine. My wife's gonna kill me, he groaned, as he slowly made his way down what seemed to be the clearest path. He spent a fortune on the crystal roses while in the Crystal Empire, and they cost a fortune. Oh man, I'm repeating myself, aren't I? He sighed. It was a bad habit of his and his wife, a schoolteacher. Never quite let him off the hook on that. Still, he loved her, and he cherished every moment he was with her. Means I need to find the nearest patroller that's zebra soonest, he said to himself. Taking a careful step and finding it didn't agitate his injured limb. He started off at a slow but stride trot down the path, out of the clearing and into the cathedral of dark, twisted trees that made up the Everfree. It made him nervous to walk amongst the usual noises, chirps, and chatters of wildlife. But he figured as long as he stayed on the path, he'd be reasonably safe. But as the path meandered on, it became less defined, with the cobblestones being broken up by weeds, until he found there were a few decacorns that had been any thoroughfare to begin with. Instead, he found himself in front of an ancient, crumbling ruins, and a massive castle with scaffolding all over it. Various construction equipment could be seen, as well as a sign that read, Castle of Everfree Reconstruction Site, Concrete Mixer Company, by order and patrons of Her Royal Highness Twilight Sparkle. I'm at Castle Everfree, he yelped, getting a bad feeling about it all. The castle had been abandoned until the events of the war between Celestia and Nightmare Moon, one that trapped Luna into the moon itself for 1,000 years. This place was dark and sinister, as though Princess Twilight was trying to improve its image. Her intentions were, if you remembered reading the newspaper right, was to rebuild the castle as a museum to commemorate the history of that dark time, and restore the village with the intent of having it become a new town. Curiosity overcame the stallion, his wounds forgotten with interest. Walking past the security barriers, he started to head towards the castle, and into it. There was rubble all over the place, and at the same time tons of construction, scaffolding, and the like. In the main throne room he found 2 thrones, those of Celestia and Luna, as well as a third one in the back, the reasons for which he couldn't discern. He spent a huge amount of time looking around the place, and by the time the sun started to head towards the horizon, he realized he had gotten too lost to focus to realize he had wasted a whole day looking at the castle. On the bright side, though, the slide was fun. Finally, he climbed up to the castle's solid tinted tower in the hopes that he could signal some point. by now his absence would be noted, and there would be others looking for him. As he opened the 8's hatch to expose the sky, he clambered up the last part of the stairs to step out into the air. The violet band of twilight started to cover up the sky. One half of the sunset sky covered with stars, while the last rays of light in the sun started to slip behind the horizon. It was a beauty that he could appreciate. Had he not been in a situation, he looked around, stepping away from the hatch. Heading to the far side of the tower, from here he could see the bunch of lights that was Ponyville at night. From the looks of it, it didn't look more than a mile or two off. He was very careful he could reach it.
Oh, he thinks he can,
a voice said behind him, guttural, dark, and chilling. Cloudcover turned to see a figure standing behind the hatch, looking straight at him, eerie and mysterious due to the cloak it wore. There was something nevertheless unsettling because of its presence.
He thinks that because he is found, he is safe.
Cloudcover dismissed his fears as sessile panic. This person clearly had to be a guard sent to retrieve him. Oh, thanks, Celestia, you're here. Listen, I know I wasn't supposed to wander around here without permission, but I thought it'd be safest to be seen from a location I'd be found easily. Plus, I'm sure Timberwolves and other monsters tend not to walk around the ground, so...
Monsters do,
the being before him said, as he could see the barest hint of a smile. Wasn't a friendly one, however.
And he should know. He is one of them.
And with that, he opened his mouth. What Cloudcover felt in the next few minutes was something he thought he would never know. Sheer and utter horror, combined with the steady weakening as a fine white mist sipped away from him, down the gullet of the creature behind him. He couldn't run away. The creature stood by the only way out. Likewise, he couldn't fly away. His wing prevented any flying, likely he had a glide down. At the moment, he was feeling worn out, though. Too worn out. Was that mist flying away from him his strength? His magic? His life? He didn't know. A second later, he leaned against the parapet, barely keeping his eyes open.
There, but stronger,
the creature said, reaching up with spindling legs, the type that minotaurs had, and pulling the cloak's hood away with strange, spidery hooves. Cloudcover looked at the red face and the graying hair of an ancient, whatever it was, realized that something was wrong. Very, very wrong. He then looked away from the creature, looking down, noticed his key mark was gone. 3 clouds in a row superimposed over a shining sun. It had always been there, but now his flank was the same like Gray had been since the day he was born. His head drooped further, not from shock but exhaustion. It felt like it was taking every bit of energy he had just to keep breathing.
And now he knows he cannot run, cannot hide, cannot flee. This is destiny.
The strange, demented monster approached.
And he cannot fight it. None can. But if he wants to escape, then he shall be helped.
The creature approached, laid its hands on the stallion, and only the densest of fools could not comprehend what was about to happen next. No, please, Cloudcover pled, hoping for a miracle. I have a wife, a family. You can't do this.
Oh, but he can,
T-Rex said, looking to Pegasus over the parapet.
And soon, all of Equestria, and then Equest itself, shall follow.
Unable to fly, unable to escape, Cloudcover could do nothing but scream as he went over the side of the tower. The ground rushed to meet him. Then no more. T-Rex sniffed the air, ignoring the new tang of blood. He'd been led false. Now that he had more magic, he could tell there was a great amount of dark magic here. Much more recent than when Nightmare Moon turned these castle walls into an elevator. Whoever the magic owner was, said Caster was not here. He knew he had to search more. So he couldn't find the trail now, it was only a matter of time. Yes, he smiled with a grin that almost bordered unhappy. Only a matter of time. With that, he descended Castle Everfree, back towards the forest. It'll be a long march, but he knew that somehow that path still led to Canterlot. Meanwhile, looking at the sunset sky over Rainbow Falls, Twilight looked at her friends and said, "We should probably get to our hotel, then find a place to eat around here. Tomorrow's going to be another long day." Raspberry mocked pouted. "Well, I'd go with you, but you asked me to be your representative at the restricted goods exchange, and then that goes on for another 10 minutes down the hall." Her glowing with Elon power, She pulled a long checklist out of her saddleback.
This list looks very long, Twy. You sure you have everything on it?
The Alicorn shook her head.
Not really. But I'm hoping the chance of human materials and equipment won't show up.
Now that we know the mirror was left empty and alone for so long, there's a decent risk that something contraband from Earth made it here. Something could really cause problems in Equus. Like guns, for instance.
What's a gun?
Aunt Pinky asked. It's a handheld weapon, Twy explained. Similar to Griffith's shoot sticks, but more on the power level of a cannon. While I was over there, I got to see some examples of how they work. And they got over here, there could be a real problem.
Well, darling, could shoot sticks be based on these guns?
Rarity said with distaste. She'd been present for the latest talks between one of the more civilized Griffin kingdoms and Equestria, and she went with Princess Luna to a demonstration of these weapons. They were loud and created a ton of soot, but they were, without doubt, dangerous.
It's possible, but I hope they came up with them on their own,
Twy Constance. Turning back to Raspberry, she asked, Do you want me to order something for you and send it over?
If you don't mind. I get the feeling I'm going to be really busy tonight. Well, Fluttershy said with a smile, I could bring you something after I eat, then keep you coming afterwards. I don't mind.
Remo sighed.
Look, I said I was sorry for trying to trade you, Fluttershy.
You're lucky I knew you just made a goof up, and weren't trying to violate the 1163 anti-slavery law, Twy said with a grin.
Yeah, Miss Lawyer,
the Pegasus grunted.
I really appreciate it, Flutters, Raspberry said, both the food and the company. Oh, it's no problem. Will Daisy and Dandelion Club sandwich be okay?
Perfect, the Mulberry Unicorn said with a smile. Now, if you excuse me, I need to get to Town Hall. Raspberry walked a few blocks south from where her friends were, then stopped in front of the building that looked very similar to Town Hall back in Ponyville. Opening the door, she asked the receptionist present about where the room was, and was directed downstairs to the basement, into the room the community usually used to hide for the various disasters that seemed to hit Equestria at least biannually.
Maybe I should have Twy suggest to Mayor about putting one of these in the basement of our town hall,
she thought.
You never know when some huge, evil, bad-flying wannabe is going to come and play parasite Scylla throughout the whole place.
As she entered the room, she looked at the pony stallion with glasses, pinto coat, and boutonniere.
Mayor Big Spots?
The stallion looked at her.
Yes, I am he.
She smiled. Archmage's Raspberry Sparkle of the Mage Guild, here to represent Her Highness Princess Twilight Sparkle.
Oh, Princess Raspberry, a pleasure to meet you,
he said, bowing.
Or do you prefer Archmage's Barrel when on duty?
Just Ras is fine, thanks, she said, waving it off. So where do I sit?
Actually, if you follow me, please,
Big Spot said.
We haven't even started yet, and two individuals have already started to bicker about their trade. I tried to get them to listen, but I think this might take someone both with guild and royal authority.
Sure, lead the way,
Raspberry said. And she followed him, where a pair of ponies argued. One of them she knew, Bedazzle, the town maid for the fields of Blue Savannah, out on the Derby grasslands. The only one she couldn't peg, but from the look of him, he was a scholar, possibly a mage, though she hadn't met him if that was the case. Bedazzle heard the approaching hostess and turned to see Raspberry approaching.
Oh, hi, Raz, she said. Miss Bedazzle, as much as I would like to chat, I'm not doing now. So you can refer to me by my rank or royal title,
Raspberry said gravely.
So, do you think this is probably the most cast members we've ever had on the show?
I started to think yes! Given the level of arguing she had seen, especially let them know who was in charge, even if it meant violating what she told Big Spots a second prior.
I'm sorry, my maid,
Bedazzle apologizing, cursing at the same time.
Well met, Lady Maid,
the other pony said, pushing his glasses back onto the bridge of his muzzle.
I'm Maid Sunburst, recently signed to the Crystal Empire by the Guild.
He bowed and nodded in reply.
I'll handle this from here,
Raspberry told Big Spots. When I meet you back at the entrance, so you could show me where to sit afterwards. Would that suffice?
It would be indeed, Lady Maid.
Big Spots turned to him and wandered off. Sitting apart, Raspberry turned her attention back to the problem on Hoof.
Okay, what seems to be the problem? Well, Sunburst here wants to trade for a copy of the Tomb of Transmission. ultimate guide to teleportation, blinking, and other means of movement. Bedazzle explained, it's an old copy, but very rare. But he wants to trade that piece of junk for this.
Lady Mage. Raspberry was reminded why she hated using tiles, just like Twilight did. They got in the way of ponies being ponies.
Look, let's just drop the tiles, okay? Just keep it professional, you two.
Sure thing, Lady May, Raz, Bedazzle said. Absolutely, Sunburst agreed. Anyway, I found this object ages ago I've been studying. An ancient relic, I think, that dates back to the time of the longest night. It makes this loud sound, but I don't think it was meant to be a clarion call for troops. I was planning to show BD how it works, but for some odd reason it doesn't.
'Cause it's a piece of junk, Bedazzle said. I really doubt anything for the Civil War area burst. For all you know, it could be something from the Discordian era.
True, but if so, it's still a worthy piece of magic to study. Sally Karen. Were you working on a monograph regarding ancient artifacts anyway?
Only they really are burst. Okay, mind if I take a look at it, Burst? Raspberry asked. BD, I don't need to see yours, since I own a copy myself. Good book. The long travel's definitely got a bit about the blinking wrong. Yeah, who wants to tear holes in space-time to travel anyway?
Bedazzle muttered, shivering at the thought. As for mine, here it is. But Sunburst said, filling up his magic field. Second layer, the hue changed from gold to black, and Raspberry took a hold of it and brought it into sight. The object was definitely made of metal, a girdle of wood that had rolled mostly away. It was L-shaped, thick and slab-like on one end, a thin hollow tube on the other end. Remains of an arc of metal seemed to bridge the two pieces at the other end, and seemed to block another crescent-shaped piece of metal.
Where did you find this?
Though she didn't look at him, Sunburst replied, I went back to my hometown of Morglade to say hi to my friends. It borders the south end of the Everfree. While we were there, one of the town's fillies got lost in the forest. We found her, but during the search I found this object in a dried riverbed. Given the direction of the gully, it likely fills only when the storms heavily in the forest. The riverbed passes by the ruins of the castle Everfree. According to a map I later looked at, additionally 1,000 years ago, Morglade was a staging base for the Luna army during the Civil War. So it could have been just buried over the years. She noticed the strange symbols on the side of the object. It's a bunch of kanji, guys. I can only read a little bit of it, but I see the characters for Bink. Looks like wind. I think maybe the kanji for 8. One of these is Watashi. Most of it was worn away, and what could be read was barely legible to begin with.
And these chisels?
At first I thought they were moon runes, code developed by the Luna army to commemorate in secret during the war, Sunburst told her. But that didn't make sense at all. Then I thought it might have been one of the Eastern languages, so I contacted colleagues at the NRE and Joseon embassies, but the latter said it doesn't look like raccoon runes. Oi! Baka! Only ungulates are having the ability to talk around this universe! The fox at the NRE embassy was able to only read one part.
Are you sure you could have made it? I get Tanuki in Kitsune, but are you sure you couldn't have just made sure that the Kitsune was orange? A thing for ramen.
Taking the object as magic grass, returning it to the bottom of the flag could be read. Sunburst then used this magic to highlight 3 runes. Fire? 3. So Raspberry could see them. Tanamo says it means river and pebble. But she doesn't know any other place in her homeland that bears the name. So it's not possible it refers to a sacred project. But for that time period, the foundries of Inari weren't advanced enough for this level of metalworking. In any case, it was about a century before foxes and ponies established diplomatic relations. Raspberry looked at the object. For some reason, Twilight's words warning about equipment from Sunset Shimmer's world arriving in theirs.
But this doesn't look like a shoot stick. It can't be one of those gun things Twilight mentioned.
Raspberry mused.
I've seen shoot sticks, and this is way too small to be one. Meanwhile, Bedazzled, who'd been watching the going while I saw about it. Now you have me interested, Burst. Why didn't you mention those symbols before?
Because I was too focused on the loud noise it makes, I guess. He admitted. Why are you still interested?
Yep.
She answered, flinging her tome over to him. A second later, the strange bell logic was passed over to her.
Well, you got that scared away. Now, please enjoy the rest of the market. Try not to give me any more headaches, okay? You got it, Raz.
Bedazzled chirped. Sunburst merely nodded. Relieved one issue was song. Raspberry went to go to Big Spots, who had Fluttershy standing next to him carrying a picnic basket.
Good, food's here,
she thought. Glad to see your friend. Her mind breathlessly wandered back to the mystery item now owned by Bedazzled. But as she approached Fluttershy, the smell of good food hit her nostrils.
I'll have to suggest to Twilight we look at it later.
Raspberry thought, giving Fluttershy a green smile.
Might not be dangerous, but never hurts to check, right?